through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that
Hello there, lollygaggers.
my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it.
Another week on tap here at Lollygagging Sports. I am Bo Reed along with Samantha Button and Matthew Irby. So, Coolio, I feel like, is always valid. Like, I don't need a special reason to play Gangster's Paradise. Right? Just toss it out there. What do you think, Samantha? That's one of those songs that I don't really need a reason, right? I can just toss it out there.
You never need a reason for Coolio. I'm just amazed that all the lyrics to that song are still in my brain. Like, if the part of my brain that stores song lyrics from like 20 to 30 years ago could be repurposed, I could do amazing things. There's a lot of song lyrics knocking around up there, but can't seem to reappropriate that space to something more useful. So, but if anybody ever needs me, like in a situation where it's like life or death and you need somebody to like recite all of the lyrics to a Coolio song, I'm your guy.
Why don't they have those game shows like back like they had in the 60s, Name That Tune? Like you'd be
I would have been so good at that.
Right, you'd be really good at that.
Too bad that's not still on. That might motivate me to go on a game show. I would go on the game show. Mm-hmm.
Irby, how about you? How you doing, man?
I am great. I am now visualizing ourselves in our 60s and 70s on game shows, and the first few notes of Gangster's Paradise play, and you see an elderly person rapping. That's going to be so wonderful.
Which one of us is wearing the fedora? My money's on Samantha.
Nah, I don't like hats.
I think you're the only one that could pull that off, though.
Oh, I can't.
No.
I mean, if you guys really want me to, I would try it.
I think it works. I think it would work.
Okay. Tell you what, if I end up on a song lyric game show when I'm in my 60s, I will wear a fedora just for you. I will do it. A brightly colored one, too.
Yes. Purple. I like it.
I don't wear a lot of purple, but, for this, just feels right.
All right. Well, we got a fun show. We're going to talk some NFL, some college football playoff. We're going to assign another NFL team a president later. But first, we've got that NFL rapid fire. Samantha, you want to kick us off?
I hope you guys are ready.
Are we ever?
You all.
I don't know.
No.
This is like stretching. I probably should do it, but I'm not.
You guys don't stretch. That's right.
Yeah.
Another problem. Another problem that we've left ourselves. All right. Well, just gonna have to leave that alone because we have rapid fire to get to. So you all know the rules by now. These guys get an answer off the top of their head. No thinking, no explaining, no nothing. We'll have an opportunity to explain one of your answers at the end after we've done all 10. Some of them have right answers. Some of them do not. I will let you know if you were correct or incorrect. So let's start here with what I think I would say was the game of the week and a pretty good week for NFL football, actually. Bills over the Chiefs. So, are the Bills the best team in the AFC now? Are the Chiefs still the best team? Or do we not know?
We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Herbie?
I think the Bills are, and they were before the game was played as well.
Always got to take it a step further. Always. Has to take it that step further. I thought they were better before the game.
Yeah. I didn't put money on it, but
I want to think that's true. So, and I hope that was true and remains true. Okay, so what coach would you fire first? You're not allowed to say Mike McCarthy.
Damn it.
Oh.
I mean, it's still Peterson, right? Like, how does Doug still have a job out there?
Oh, Doug.
I'm just like, what does he have on ownership?
Herbie?
Eberflus. I can't even say it right. Doesn't deserve it.
I somehow, and maybe this is why Peterson continues to keep jobs. Somehow, I am convinced that Eberflus is worse than Doug Peterson.
Eberflus, thank you.
I don't even have a logical reason for that. It's just how it is. So perhaps I too have fallen prey to the same thing, and you have as well. Bo is the only one who's on to this. Okay, which front office staff would you fire first?
You can't say the Cowboys or the Jets, right?
Sorry,
The Jets front office is Aaron Rodgers, so you can't.
Now it is. Now it.
Here.
Well,
But and you can't say the Cowboys because that's Jerry Jones.
yeah.
So you have to pick a team that actually has a front office doing front office-y things. So
Front office-y things.
See,
I like that.
You wiped out all of like the main contenders for this particular answer.
there are plenty of good ones left.
You know what? All right, fine. I'll go. I'm gonna go with Cleveland. Train wreck.
Interesting. I think most Cleveland fans would disagree with you, because the problem is likely the owner. There are, however, some that do think the front office needs to go. Irby, where are you at on that?
Well, I love that if Aaron Rodgers is the Jets front office, I want that to be the answer. Love that. But I will go with anything and everything out of Jacksonville's got to go.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the Colts. I just validated.
You know what's
been going for way too long.
You know what's funny about that though is like you can make the argument that ownership is the problem in both of those places too.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to. I mean, how do you reconcile the like Jimmy Haslam and the Jim Irsay of it all? Maybe you just shouldn't sell teams to people named Jim. I don't know.
Can we just get rid of
Jim
the
Crane,
J's
there
and
we go.
just get rid of the J's in general? Just no J's.
Jerry. Yeah, you want to get rid of Jerry too.
See?
Yeah.
Madness.
Yeah. No, it could be onto something. All right.
You know it's bad when the Houston team is the one behaving.
Oh God.
Well, but that's only because they got rid of the bunny, whose name also started with J. Jack.
True.
So, just saying.
I think we're onto something here. Get rid of the J's.
All right, let's look at the other side of it. Who's your leading coach of the year candidate right now?
Dan Campbell.
Irby?
Yes, I want to say Quinn. But no, it's Campbell, Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I think so. I want to give it to Dan Quinn, and I guess depending on how their season turns out, we can revisit that. But right now, I think it's got to be Dan Campbell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are the Dolphins back in the playoff mix?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I think I'm a no here as well. What about Cincinnati? Are they finally out?
Yes, they are out.
Are we like throwing them out completely, I guess, is what I'm asking. Yeah?
Yeah, they're out.
I believe more. Cincinnati still has Dallas to play, so there's plenty of time to turn this. I think Cincinnati has a better chance of the playoffs than Miami. I'm gonna say no. No, Cincinnati's. I'm not done with them yet.
Okay, I'm with you, Bo. I think they're done.
So
they have a tougher schedule than Miami the rest of the way.
Sure.
They do get Dallas, though. They do get Dallas. You're right about that, so that would help. But yeah, I think they're cooked. Okay.
I think at this point, Dallas helps the Giants. They're playing on Thanksgiving.
The Giants.
We're not they got DeVito back.
The Giants.
DeVito's back. Giants are going to be unstoppable that day.
Oh, no, not that guy again. I don't want to do that again. Okay. So, is it me? Or did we finally get, like, a good NFL week this week? We actually got a lot of pretty good games, right?
Yeah.
This is the first week I feel like we've even seen anything even remotely entertaining that wasn't an accident.
Yeah. Sunday was a really good day. That Chiefs-Bills game was outstanding. It's one of the few games this year that I've really enjoyed watching. So, yeah, Yeah, I'll give the NFL credit. They put together a good product this weekend.
Yeah.
Now do it again.
Herbie.
Well, and not just Sunday. Thursday night was solid. The Eagles-Commanders game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Seahawks 49ers, and there were a number of them, actually, that I thought were pretty good.
Even the Packers and the Bears gave us some entertainment.
Yeah. I just think we saw a better product, finally. So, let's hope they can keep it up. Justin Herbert, your thoughts?
I just want to get a little consistency out of him. I think he could be good, but he's gotta lock it down more.
Okay.
That's my quick answer.
It's a great. He's a Harbaugh's quarterback. Yeah, there you go. I've never had really a big issue with Herbert, and with Harbaugh there, I think this is a combination that, look, could you get better? Possibly. Could it be a whole lot worse? Absolutely. The Chargers, you've got other stuff to fix, but you're winning right now. You're 7-3. Your 3 losses are against good teams. So this is your guy. Keep moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's objectively a good quarterback. There's not really a lot of doubt around that. Is he good enough to carry a team that has a lot of other problems? Maybe certainly by bringing in Harbaugh. Well, no, let me rephrase that. By bringing in someone who is not Brandon Staley, it's automatically better, right? So my question about my question about Justin Herbert is really more like, can he carry a bad team, or is he just like good enough?
He's a top 32 quarterback.
There you go.
Jeez.
No, short answer, I don't think he can carry a bad team. I think he's got to have the weapons and he's got to have the time in the pocket. He's not a scrambler. He's not the guy that's going to extend the play. Like, he needs the good team around him.
Okay.
I will agree to that, but I'm going to explain later. Sorry. Rapid fire. My bad.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone has a lot to say this week.
It was a good week.
So, other than Dan Campbell, which coach do you think looks the most insane while coaching?
Ooh.
Oh, man.
You can't say Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers just looks insane in general. Man. Other than Dan Campbell.
Feel free to jump in anytime. Either of you.
I'm on the struggle bus on this one.
I'm gonna go with McDaniel.
Daniel. Interesting. Okay.
I'm blanking on his name. Who's that coach in Houston? Because he was a wild man on the side.
Ryan?
Thank you. He was a wild man on the. It was the first time I really watched the Texans this year, so maybe it was just this game. But he was pretty wild on the sidelines last night. So
interesting. I think of him as very mild mannered.
He's usually really even keeled.
Yeah.
Beating Dallas in Jerry World probably brings it out to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think the answer to this might actually be Jim Harbaugh, who always looks a little bit insane even when he's not doing anything. So, all right, last question. What would your touchdown celebration be?
Oh, I am old school. Bowling. Going bowling. We're going bowling. Yeah.
All right. All right.
I'm no fun. I was never the fun guy. I was the one that scored, handed the ball to the ref. Let's go get the extra point.
Boo.
I know.
Boo.
Wow.
I'm too much of a George Seifert. Like, I will celebrate when there's zeros on the clock and we've got more points. I'm that guy.
You are Paul Tagliafico.
Not expecting that, but I don't disagree.
Terrible. Okay, so we've got bowling. I always wanted to do, like, I'm going to bring back one of those obscure line dances from like the early 90s. The ones don't, not the Macarena, because that one's still, I feel like that one's still floating around out there. But like the electric slide, or remember the personal Jesus? That one had a line down. So I'm going to bring back one of those, see if anybody recognizes it. All right, you have one opportunity to explain one of your answers. We don't want Irby to explain his touchdown celebration.
No.
So have at it. Have at it. What do you need to say?
So I actually have more of a follow-up question than an explanation. Let's go back to those Bengals.
Okay.
Does Jamar Chase get traded this offseason?
Ooh.
Maybe. Well, and does Zach Taylor get fired like 2 weeks from now? Like, do they need to blow it up and start over? I think these things might be connected.
Yeah, they might be.
Yeah, because I think the answer is like, yeah, if they decide they need to clean house, yes, that will happen. If they decide they're going to punt on this season, then I don't know. Then we may be just looking at the exact same thing a year from now.
Anything you want to add there, Irby?
No, you caught me off guard with that. I hadn't thought about him getting traded, but
It just seems like every time I turn around, he's disgruntled and popping off to the press. Like that's usually what happens.
Wait, a wide receiver number one is disgruntled?
I know.
Gee, that never happened.
Do you think he will be less disgruntled at a second location? Because they all say they will be, and then they're not. They're just disgruntled. Mm-hmm.
Just trading with CeeDee Lamb straight up.
All right, Irby, anything you want to follow up on?
The Chargers one about Justin carrying a bad team, and I don't know if this is what you're referencing, but I don't think he is necessarily the guy right now that can be the one that puts the team on his shoulder and carries them, but this is not a bad Chargers team. Is it a Super Bowl winning Chargers team? No, but you're not in a bad place, and they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, they may make the playoffs. I mean, they now have at least a competent coach, if nothing else. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think he can be a valuable piece of a good team, I guess. I would say it. They're probably playoff team. It's just how far can they really get, and how much of that is going to be because of Justin Herbert, independently of what's going on around him. Okay. Enough NFL for now. We'll get back to this. But let's talk Hall of Fame ballots. Actually, first, quick digression. Congratulations to my manager of the year, Stephen Vogt. More on baseball's awards, or perhaps the lollygagging version of end of season awards next week. A little bit different. So tune in next week for that. Hall of Fame ballots, though. We've just seen the new ballot for this year. So I thought we ought to go through, and what I'm going to do is tell you guys who's on my ballot, who I'm voting for, and then talk a little bit maybe about people you're on the fence about, people who are sort of problematic candidates, etc. But I want to know who's on your ballots as well. So I'll start. I have 6 people on my ballot, which is a big number for me. I'm a small hole person, but I have Andy Pettit, who's been on my ballot for years, along with Manny and A-Rod, also been on the ballot for years. Billy Wagner has been on my ballot for years. And then, of course, CC Sabathia, who was my kind of fence case that I decided to give a thumbs up to. And Ichiro, who's kind of a no-doubter. As far as sort of the maybe kind of people, I had Beltran, Andrew Jones, Dustin Pedroia, Chase Utley, and Ian Kinsler, even though I know he's not really a Hall of Famer, but he's in my mind. And then you have your sort of problem candidates for different reasons. Omar Vizquel, who obviously has the skills to be there. Like, I don't like the factual editing of people being like, well, he's really not good enough. It's like, no, you just need to be honest about this and say that there are lines we have to draw about character. And we're saying we don't want this guy in the Hall of Fame, but let's not pretend he wasn't a Hall of Fame caliber shortstop. Like, don't do that. Don't be the person who edits the facts to make it hate your argument. He doesn't get the vote, but that's not why. And Felix Hernandez, too, to me, I have a real issue with putting people in simply because they lasted a really long time. And while he was a very, very good pitcher, it's like, to me, that's all very good. So I want to know what you guys think. Who's on your ballot? Who's on your fringe? Who's on here that you can't believe is on the ballot? I don't know. Any direction you want to take it. Just tell me your votes and then whatever else you need to say.
I also had 6.
Okay.
I did actually vote for King Felix
Okay.
because I thought he was just dominant for a decade. And any other team, he's probably got a ring or two.
Yeah.
So I feel like not putting him in, I'm penalizing him from being stuck with the Mariners, even though he did choose to re-sign there. So.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, I don't think you should take World Series rings into consideration as a penalty against somebody.
Yeah.
I think if somebody really shows up big in the World Series and you're on the fence about him, then you do give them the benefit of the doubt there. But yeah, you can't penalize him for like being stuck on the Mariners for his entire career. It's not his fault.
Yeah. I also have Andy Pettit. I mean, this is one of those players that me and you have talked about extensively off the air. Like we are in firm agreement on Andy Pettit. And while postseason stats alone usually aren't enough, when you have a season's worth of postseason games,
yes, exactly,
and you're that dominant, you're a Hall of Famer in my book.
I agree.
Yeah, Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez, of course. Ichiro. We better not have any idiots not voting for Ichiro because it's something stupid.
Somebody's going to do it. So they can
always one. Yeah,
I'm telling you, there's always one. Always one.
Yeah, and Billy Wagner, I've got him on mine as well. I've got him. It's his last year on the ballot, I believe.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, closers belong in the Hall of Fame too, and Billy Wagner was one of the best.
Yeah.
So that's mine. I really didn't have maybes. In fact, I put it out there that I didn't have very many difficult decisions on this one, which kind of got me into some hot water with some people because apparently Carlos Beltran, I didn't know this guy's. Did you know that he is the Puerto Rican Mickey Mantle? I did not know that.
What? Sorry, what?
That's
Puerto Rican Mickey Mantle.
Okay.
I did not know this.
Okay. I mean, Carlos Beltran, number of issues, one of which is the connection to the bad thing, the thing that we don't want to talk about because it doesn't belong in Hall of Fame conversations. But I also mostly think of him as the guy who, like, when he was dismissed by the Mets, for things connected to that, when he stole the disco ball in the fog machines.
Well, not only was he a participant.
He brought the disco ball in the fog machines. I'm sorry, I'm getting this wrong. And then Yoenis Cespedes took them home to the TR, and they lost their fog machine.
Yeah.
Because the manager got fired before he ever managed a game, and then Cespedes took them home with him when he got DFA.
I do want to point out, trying to call him the Puerto Rican Mickey Mantle is doubly offensive to me because Mickey Mantle is my favorite baseball player of all time.
Okay, you and I are going to have to talk about why that's a problem.
I just the comp I don't agree with the comp. I don't like the comp at all.
I don't either. We need to talk about why Mickey Mantle is your favorite baseball player, though.
Oh, we can have that conversation. Yeah.
He's like a really bad person, though. He was a very bad person.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't think you want your favorite player to be like, a woman beater. Let's just throw that out there. Speaking of people who maybe shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, although he was a very good baseball player.
Very, very good baseball player.
And I don't think the comp is accurate. Although I would rather Carlos Beltran was in my living room than Mickey Mantle. So, do with that what you will.
That being said, I also don't think he's a Hall of Famer, just in general.
Yeah, I'm not very on him either.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah, and then, of course, the other one I could hit on was Andy Pettit, which I think I just explained exactly why I would vote for Andy Pettit for the Hall of Fame.
I think that's...
yeah.
I think if you're paying attention, yeah. Unless you're going to tell me that every single person who's ever touched a PED should never be anywhere near Hall of Fame, which again, Andy Pettit has to be the weakest case ever for that too. Then, yeah, like come on, man, come on. Oh, terrible.
I do.
We don't even like the Yankees, you guys. Like we don't even like the Yankees or the Astros. So Andy Pettit. Absolutely Hall of Famer in my book. Yeah. So what's your thing with CeCe? Is it that he accrued the stats simply by hanging around for a long time? Because that's why I had him as kind of like a fence guy.
I think it's more. I wanted to vote for those other guys, and I didn't want it more. I didn't want to have more than 6. Like I gotcha. Yeah. And look, this is why some of these guys it takes a few times.
Yeah. I think
this is why. Like, do I think he's eventually going to get in the Hall of Fame? Yes, sir. Yes, I do. I absolutely do.
Okay.
Just on this particular ballot, I wanted, obviously, Ichiro's first ballot along with CC, so,
Yeah, no, I think that's a very valid way to look at it. Yeah. All right, Irby, who's on your ballot? Who's not?
Who's there? Who's not? Fernando Rodney does not make it. Sorry, everyone. Sorry.
I can't even.
Can we just get just
the hell out of here.
share a nice little laugh out loud that Fernando Rodney's on this ballot?
Speaking of people who are only there because they simply refuse to retire.
Yep.
You can't, I have X number of whatever, pick your stat. I don't care if you only got that because you just won't die, then no. Oh, no.
No,
Okay,
he's not
so
on mine. All right,
not
so
Fernando
yes.
Rodney. Good, okay.
No
good.
Fernando Rodney. I do have Billy Wagner as well.
Okay.
Confident that this will happen in his 10th year. He was 73.8% last time. He's been trending up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've got Alex and Manny. I'm on the fence Andy Pettit, but you guys are definitely pulling me. Y'all are pulling me pretty hard there. I'm an Andrew Jones guy.
Okay. Yeah, I had him as a fence case. Yeah. Okay.
I'm an Ichiro and CC.
Mm-hmm.
And just because it's my ballot and I can do it, I'm picking Ian Kinsler.
Hey, I support you in that. Ian
Tip of the
Kinsler is
hat
Hall
to
of
the
Famer
Rangers.
to me.
Yeah.
You have 8 people on your ballot if we include Andy Pettit. So, no, I support the Ian Kinsler thing. I didn't do it, but I support it. I would like to see him get in.
It's funny. I wish I'd have tracked that all these years of how many. I feel like I am a 7 to 8 usual on my votes.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think yours is always a little bit higher than mine, and mine is usually 5 to 6, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I do agree. You don't want the Hall of Very Good. You want the Hall of Fame, but it's hard sometimes when looking because that's one. So my big one here, Bo. It's where I differ from you. I'm a hard no on Felix Hernandez.
Really?
Yeah, I am too.
Yes.
But
I have nothing against him. He was an amazing player, but it wasn't enough. And I'm not penalizing because of the Seattle stuff. That is your choice, though. So we didn't help your case.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm a hard no on Felix Hernandez. He was an amazing player. He will be in the Seattle Hall of Ring, whatever they have there.
Hall of Rings.
Hall of Rings.
Yeah.
Hall of Rings. Wait, they don't have any rings. Oh
no. Hall of
Fish.
Each one gets a commemorative trident when they're put in their Hall of Rings.
Wait, are you serious?
No, I'm making that up.
Oh man, that would have been
I thought you were serious too. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't have a bust in Cooperstown, but I got a trident.
Yeah, you could do worse.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Mariners. Just go find Poseidon. He'll help you with your baseball. Be okay.
All right. So, so everybody's a no on Pedroia. Is that?
Yeah.
I had him as kind of like a fence, probably not person. And Chase Utley, who I have as a fence. Mm-hmm. If we get a weak class, I'll probably vote for him. I guess I should say, I see Kinsler, Utley, and Andrew Jones as sort of one group, and then the rest of the fence people is a different group, which is I'm probably never going to vote for you. Some of these guys I would vote for if I feel like I had too many on the ballot already. So
the Utley one's going to be very interesting this year, being his second year. He got 28.8% last year, but that was also a class that he was never really going to. So if you see him jump into the 40s, close to 50, that will be very interesting to see how Chase Utley plays out over the years.
Yeah, I'm curious about him. He's certainly somebody who I would have expected to at least do better than that. 28 is not great. I would have expected him to do better. And I am curious, too, as somebody who's kind of stayed around the game in a way, how much that ultimately ends up mattering. I mean, that's never going to make you a Hall of Famer if you're not worthy. But does that kind of thing, does sticking around like that, if you can kind of slowly work your way up, is that going to be the thing that ultimately pushes you over the top? So, and he's got an interesting job. He's the MLB ambassador to, the United Kingdom, which is awesome. So very cool job. If he doesn't want that job anymore, I'll take it.
You probably don't get a trident with that job.
I don't think you do, but you get to live in London, and maybe they give you one of those hats, like the guys at Buckingham Palace wear, instead of a trident, which would also be kind of cool. So, with a baseball cap stuck on the top of it. We can work on this. We'll workshop this. And a cricket bat. All right. Anything else on the Hall of Fame? Anybody? Any comments on any of the people we didn't discuss? Anybody? Anything?
I'm also kind of laughing out loud at Ben Zobrist, but other than that, no.
Oh yeah. I think we need to have a thing where it's like, this person doesn't need to be on here just because they lasted X number of years, and we all know this. No one's gonna vote for this person. Come on, like.
That's what's crazy is you look at that down there. The Carlos Gonzalez. Guarantee he gets a handful of votes. Russell Martin, Ben Zobrist, Adam Jones. Yes, they will all get 2-3 votes. And somebody will.
Russell Martin, absolutely not. Well, somebody's favorite player, I guess. Everybody's somebody's favorite player, right? Unless you're Tim Anderson, you're nobody's favorite player. If he manages to make it long enough to be eligible, will he be the first person to not get a single vote? Maybe.
Didn't your dad vote? Yeah, my dad voted. I still didn't get one.
Oh, Tim. Okay. So, real quickly, just wanted to throw this out there. I think this is something that probably only is evident if you went to a major conference school, if you root for a major conference school. I don't know that like FCS or smaller FBS conference teams really go all out on their like merch for fans and students to purchase. But I went to Penn State, so there is no more merched up place than State College. And I was thinking about all of the absurd things that they will sell you there, beyond just your average, sweatshirts, hats, stuffed animal, notebook, whatever, with the Nittany Lion on it. Of course, you're going to get that kind of stuff. But they have some just truly unusual items. I want to start with like the bumper sticker that has been bugging me since I visited there as like a high school junior. It says, "If God isn't a Penn State fan, why is the sky blue and white?" I mean, just what do you do when you play another blue and white team? It's been bugging me forever, and they still sell these things.
I can see why.
I mean, the good news about this is bumper stickers that cost like $5, right? But let's go to the other end of the spectrum too. So you can buy a grandfather clock, I'm talking full legit grandfather clock, carved out of wood, with the Nittany Lion logo carved into the top of the clock. So instead of, your ancestral crest or whatever, like your family's coat of arms, you can buy like a clock that costs several $1,000s and is taller than you are with a Nittany Lion carved into it. Just why? Who would buy this? It's just such a weird blend of like, there's like the people who decorate their home in like wood and like, I don't know, like heavy velvet and things like people like me that want to look like they live inside the Clue game, And then there's the people that decorate their house with sports memorabilia and like nary the two shall meet, and they're meeting on this clock. It's weird. It's just weird. And then in addition to that, other furniture, like actual furniture, like I understand why they sell collapsible lawn chairs with the Penn State logo. I mean, you think of tailgate, right? Like you think of your local city fireworks display and let everyone know you're a Penn State fan or whatever. The card table with the Penn State logo on it, or the beer pong table. Of course, this makes sense to me. But like, why are you selling like legitimate furniture that has like Nittany Lions like carved into the side of a dining table? This is freaking weird. It's weird. Like how do you put that together? Like either you're furnishing your house in like memorabilia and like IKEA, or you're furnishing it in like expensive wood and old-fashioned decor. Like you either want to look like you live in a dorm still, even though you're an adult, or you want to look like you're 80. I'm sure there's a happy medium in there, and probably none of the happy medium includes anything with Penn State's logo on it. But like, don't you think this is weird? I mean, these are weird things to sell, and I'm curious. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, would you buy the carved clock?
No.
And also, what weird things does your school sell? Oh, I know you guys were FBS when you were there, so there probably wasn't a lot available. But I'm guessing you're very familiar with the Texas merch. So,
well, Irby's probably a little bit more familiar with the Texas merch. I mean, I look for apparel when I'm shopping Texas merch. I'm not looking for the other things.
Well, no. I mean, I didn't buy the clock. I want to be really clear about that. I did not buy the clock or the bumper sticker or the couch or any of it. No, I'm talking about like what weird things have you seen there, not what are you buying. Well, or if you bought a weird thing, please share. But
I mean, that's the thing is I can't think of anything weird that I've seen. At least I would Texas. Sam Houston, I never paid attention to any of the merch. We were FBS. So, Irby, I think we have to lean on with you on this one because there's not much I can add here.
Yeah. All right, Irby. What do they have in Texas? You guys have a clock too? You have a grandfather?
I have not seen the wooden grandfather
Bevo carved into the side of it or something.
See, now that I would buy.
Yeah. Well, I have seen the grill shaped as Bevo.
I mean,
is it charcoal?
It makes more sense than the clock.
No, I don't. I think it was gas.
Ooh, really?
Now we got something for Bo. I've also seen the. Yeah, I know. It's one of those. It's like, I'm not like. I think it's something. If someone got it for me, it'd be like, awesome. I'm going to use it. Like, I don't know if I can spend my money on that.
Oh, I don't know if I would either. I don't know if that qualifies as weird. Like, it makes sense to me that, like, it's a huge college football fan, one might buy a grill with the college football's logo. Like, it makes more sense than the grandfather clock.
Grilling some steaks on a Bevo grill is just priceless. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, it is a little morbid, I guess, now that you think about it.
That is a little strange. I've also seen the not the front door welcome mat, but the full blown 10-foot by 12-foot rug.
Oh,
burnt orange.
Yeah,
like no.
Like
nobody needs to come to the house. Like whoa.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't love that. The rug. Wow.
The rocking chairs. I've seen those like $600 wooden rocking chairs.
Oh,
different logos carved into it. Like, okay.
I don't want a rocking chair that much.
Right? Let alone something carved into it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have a bunch of those actually, which they're not I didn't buy them, but from my grandparents who were professors at the time. They're not Penn State. They're Miami of Ohio, but I guess they give you one of those when you get some kind of accolade as a professor or something, and we ended up with them. I'm freaking you one of these. Like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? Like, I'm sure it's a very nice chair. I don't.
In light of a raise,
I don't care. It's sitting in our basement storage. Yeah, the rock.
I've also seen a lot
on the front of a Cracker Barrel.
At the university shop in Austin, across the street from campus. I've seen a lot of the like old school apparel, like not like 90s, but like stuff from the 50s and 60s.
Why?
I don't know, but every time I've gone, it's there. So there's obviously a market.
Do they have a fedora?
I've never looked, but I wouldn't be overly shocked.
All right. Well, I think the clock still wins. Although the rug, I have to say, the rug is bad too. Like, that is just a lot of surface area in burnt orange. A lot of surface area in logo.
And I love burnt orange, but yeah, I don't know if I could like. I could see my wife say, like, "Do you want to get that?" No, I don't.
Yeah, there are just some things that you just can't allow into your house when you're older than 24, and I think that's one of them. All right, so nothing more. No, nobody had a letter opener or like a, I don't know, a set of curtains or something that probably exists. I shouldn't say that. Somewhere somebody has Penn State curtains. Somewhere somebody has Texas curtains. I guarantee it.
Oh, I'm sure that. Well, I'm sure there's
Absolutely.
letter openers as well.
Yeah.
I mean, sadly down here, I'm sure there's plenty of belt buckles as well.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I bet there's some idiot that's got in his pistol has got all UT carved into it. Like, what are you doing?
Oh my goodness, the South. Wow. That I have not seen. But in our part of the country, the belt buckle is not perhaps as prominent of an accessory, nor is the pistol, for that matter.
Yeah, the weirdest one that I have that I'm trying to think, like, so this goes back to the grilling one. I don't have the grill, though maybe we need to have a conversation. I do have the spatula that's got the Longhorn logo in it. And if you get the thing hot enough, you can sear the Longhorn into the burger.
Oh, yeah. I never even thought about that, or like the waffle makers, where you can get the plates, or like the toaster, where you can burn the Nittany Lion into the toast.
See, that would work with the Nittany Lion logo. The Longhorn logo, it wouldn't work. Like, no one wants to eat a waffle in the shape of the Longhorn. It's just, no.
Don't be so sure. I think there's a market.
Oh, I'm sure they're out there.
They're out there. And I did buy my husband for his birthday, because he's hard to shop for, a case of limited edition whiteout Gatorade. They made special Gatorade, whiteout Gatorade for Penn State. And it's like
flavor
this.
Was that?
It's weird. It's like this milky white color. Like, it looks kind of like if you poured milk into a glass of water, but it just tastes like the lemon lime. It tastes fine. But it looks weird. I was concerned about it when we got it. Like, oh, I guess nobody's drinking this. Okay, but it just tastes like the normal one. So, weird thing that they sell, but less of a commitment.
Right, yeah. Less of a commitment than a grandfather clock.
That clock is going to be with you for a long time. Like the Gatorade,
See,
here's
I'm gonna
one week.
have to get that spatula so I can start branding my steaks, especially when my Aggie dad is here.
Yeah.
Brand his steak with a Longhorn logo.
Mm.
Yeah.
See if he eats it.
Oh, he'll eat it. He'll just have comments.
That's funny.
Oh boy! All right. Anything else on this, guys? Before we move on. Okay. All right, Irby, you're up. What are you leading us off with tonight?
All right. Well, let's keep in that college realm. We just, as we're recording, not even an hour ago, or a little over an hour ago. Sorry, we got our latest update on the college football rankings, and then nothing too shocking here at all. Tennessee falling out, Georgia jumping in is really the only change of teams. Makes sense. Georgia beat Tennessee. Pretty easy there. BYU falls out of the byes into the 12 spot as they dropped all the way down to 14 with their loss to Kansas.
As they
That's
should.
right, Kansas. And now Boise State has a bye.
Oh God!
I'll just start there with you guys. How you feeling about that? Boise State, whose best win of the season is at UNLV. They did lose to Oregon. That's their one loss, but Boise State bye. How are we feeling about that?
See, it's not just the bye that bugs me. It's the seeding, because they're going to play a team that they may be able to actually beat when they do come out of that. Right? Like, it's not like they're going to face one of those top teams.
No, they would. As of right now, they would get, because they're the 4, they would get number 5 Ohio State would play number 12 BYU. We all know how that's going to go. So they get Ohio State.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know. Boise State with a bye. It's kind of icky to me, Samantha. How about you? That just doesn't feel right. It feels like there's a foreign object stuck in something. Like, it just feels weird.
Yeah, I hate this. I think that what they have done is revamped the playoff system, but failed to recognize the fact that the conferences don't look like what they looked like 10 years ago, and that all of the best teams are fully in two conferences. So if you're going to give out buys, you need to give them to whoever the consensus best teams are, not who wins two conferences where that really means a lot to win the conference, and then three other conferences where it means essentially nothing to win the conference. Because they're going to get killed. They're going to get destroyed by probably Ohio State if the rankings hold. But they're going to get destroyed by no matter who it is. So, I don't know. I hate it.
Yeah, I look, I'm all on with the playoffs. The whole purpose of this is to get everybody at the beginning of the year gets an opportunity and should have a chance. And Boise State, if you continue to win and you win out and you're 11-1, 12-1 after winning your conference, and your one loss is to number 1 Oregon, yes, they absolutely deserve a chance to be in this top 12 and play their way to a national championship. Because if you win the games in front of you, then we'll all sit here and go, hey, I mean, I know all of us, if Boise State starts beating Ohio State and Alabama's, we're all going to sit here and go, this is crazy. Keep it up. Keep it up. Like, but,
sure, I'm not disputing their right to be in the playoffs. I'm saying you don't get a bye. You don't get the 4 seed.
Yes.
That's
no, 100% with you on that. Is they deserve to be there. A bye when we're sitting here looking at teams that are playing tough schedules, that are winning tough games, are going to have to. Not a huge fan of this either. Again, a whole lot better than what it used to be. So that was one aspect. The other one, that's what was coming out now, is heard this earlier in the week of, what happens with conference title games. If you're a team that's actually in, but you're sitting at like that 10-11, Ole Miss, Georgia right there, and you lose that SEC title game, now you're out. Well, what if you're playing a team like should the conference championship games really matter? I know that we don't know. We'll see how this plays out. But should teams really be punished for making a conference championship game and potentially losing it?
See, that's interesting because this has been the norm with these when it was a 4-team playoff, right? Like that's why you have some of these bogus conference championship games before this year, right? Where you had a conference that didn't have enough to have 2 divisions, so they just one played 2 because they had to have that conference championship game for the winner of their conference championship game to actually get into that top 4. So now it's a little bit different. I'm not so sure we should really even count the conference championship game in this college football playoff.
It counts towards seeding.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What?
I think it's only going to count towards seeding because you wouldn't count it as a loss no matter what, right? That's never going to be part of your regular season.
Right? Yeah.
So the loss is irrelevant, right? Like it's like what it will do is it will determine between you and whoever beats you in that conference championship who gets the higher seed. Mm-hmm. So if the person with more losses beats the other guy, then I guess you have to have a conversation about who gets the higher seed. But you're not going to be out because of it. You're not going to be behind the people who were not good enough to make it into the conference championship. Like, okay, let's say Oregon beats Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Mm-hmm. Penn State's not jumping Ohio State because of that. Indiana's not jumping Ohio State because of that.
Yeah.
Like, they're not getting penalized for a second loss there. So, to me, it's really more, okay, well, if you win the regular season matchup and somebody else wins the conference championship, then we can have a conversation about who gets a higher seed, but nobody's going to be out because of this. So, I think it's mostly a non-issue.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so then let me throw where we're at. Like right now, the SEC plays out. Texas beats A&M. Georgia right now, sitting as the 11th seed, would play Texas in the SEC title game. Let's say Georgia's still sitting there at 11. if Texas beats them in the SEC title game, Georgia has the 11, the last team in. You're not taking them out. You're saying they would just stay at 11, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to look at it that way at all. No, that doesn't make any sense to me. You're not going to penalize somebody for losing an extra game they got to play because they earned the right to be there over somebody who didn't even make it that far. I don't think so.
It's also worth noting in that scenario, they essentially split a season series.
Yeah, that's also, exactly. And I think that's exactly how it's going to get looked at. So.
No, and that's great. Yeah, and I'm with you guys too. It will be interesting, and we want to see it. And I think part of it is I'm traumatized from the years we've had of having to do exactly what you said, Bo. Like, okay, here we go. We have to win this game. We need you to lose here, lose that. Because we didn't know what was going to come out. So
Yeah.
But again, the fine tooth of what we're peeling apart is so minute. It's awesome.
I'll take you a step further. Do these awful conferences, like what the Big 12 has become, I'm going to use the Big 12 as an example, do they even need to play a conference championship game at this point?
Well, if you're Colorado, you're saying absolutely, because right now Colorado behind BYU, you're going, yeah, we want to be there because we want to win that and get in. And then we sit in a situation where Colorado goes to Ohio State.
Okay, fair enough.
No,
I think using Colorado kind of proves my point too, but that's okay.
Yeah. And Bo, you made a great point about this when we talked about last week. We got to have a year to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
See what these teams. There will be tons of speculation and all this stuff, but we need to see how it plays out first.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any question there's going to be alterations after this particular season.
We will see. We will see. All right. So next up, switch back over to baseball. We talked a little bit. You guys gave us some of your. You did a great job last week of kind of going through these top free agents. Some what they're looking for, what teams are looking at them, where they're looking, where they might want to go, and stuff like that. So what I want to do is just talk about someone that, and we haven't heard from this team yet, but they will appear. It's usually post Thanksgiving. Definitely around Christmas time, this team really gets involved, and that is Mystery Team. Mystery Team, always there at free agency, always there, and sometimes make some great signs. So I've got 5 free agents out here, and I'm just going to mention, we're not talking the main targets, but I'm going to throw out 5 of these 5 guys, the Mystery Team, who I think this might be a team that shows up out of nowhere. Maybe gets the signing done, maybe not at the end, but my thoughts on Mystery Team, and if you guys agree, disagree, or if you've got something better, maybe a better Mystery Team. Okay?
Let's rock.
All right, so we start off with Mr. Soto. Everybody's involved. New York, both New York, L.A., San Francisco. Dark horses are like Washington and Toronto. My Mystery Team here with these guys, the Detroit Tigers.
Ooh. Where are they getting the money?
They've got the money. They've got youth. They need power. They need offense. You put Juan Soto out there, and you've suddenly got a leader with a bunch of those young guys.
I mean, I don't hate it. Samantha, what do you think?
I agree with that. I mean, let's skip the actual candidates, because I think everybody knows those in the interest of time, and just the mystery teams. I think Detroit's a good pick for that. Like, I think there's some real possibility of that happening. A non-zero chance, put it that way.
A non-zero, I like that.
They do have the money. And the team just proved it can compete. So, could happen.
All right, so my next one, Bo, this one's for you. Mr. Bold last week. Shortstop, maybe third baseman, Willie Adames. We know some Adames. I knew I was going to mess it up. You
had it right though.
You had a perfect pre-show, and now you reverted back. Like, did you have to like undo a software patch?
I know. I thought they were going to go fastball, and I sat and I watched the curveball go by. Oh well. All right. So Willie. We know some of the main targets of where he might be going, teams that are interested in him. My mystery team here, give it that incredible speed, 1-2 of Bobby Witt Jr.
There you go.
Put him in Kansas City.
I'm telling you, man, the Royals are going to sign one of these guys. It's going to happen.
I'm a little fuzzy on where they're getting the money for all this because they gave it to the Bobby. But
Kansas City's giving all their money to two players.
yeah, I mean, realistically speaking.
Hey, that's on brand for Kansas City, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it works, yeah. All right, my third one here, Polar Bear, Mr. Pete Alonso. And we've heard some of the big targets of where he's going. This is one where this team has deviled before. They've gone after pitchers. It didn't work out. I think this team finally goes, you know what? We need some offense, not try to piecemeal our offense together. And the San Francisco Giants go after Pete Alonso.
Yeah, I had the exact same one. Yeah.
Ooh!
I like that, yeah. Yeah. This is going to be fun, Buster Posey being in charge of this stuff this offseason. This is going to be fun to see what he does.
Well, at least we're probably not going to get like an Arson Judge situation again. Beat Alonso.
I like Alonso there.
The Giants. Like,
No, they'll think they got Fernando Alonso.
What is the over and over splash hits for Alonso as a Giant each year?
I want to find out.
I kind of do too.
Find out.
I kind of do too.
I'm sure someone will allow you to bet on that.
By the way, side note, we have splash hits for those that go into the bay. What do we have for those that go into the ginormous mitt in left center field? I feel like that needs to have a name too.
Well, someone's got to do it first.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever happened. So,
well, that's
if you hit it there, you can name it.
That is very disappointing. It is a massive mitt. How has nobody hit that before?
It's really far away.
Can we do like Bull Durham? Let's do it like Bull Durham. You hit the mitt, and you get a steak.
I'm not against this. It makes sense. All right. All right, next one. Starting pitcher Max Fried out there. Dodgers obviously involved. Could he go back to San Diego? Boston involved on everything like that. When they are unable to re-sign Nathan Eovaldi, I've got the Rangers jumping in on Max.
Okay, that's creepy because I was thinking the same thing. Are we sharing the same brain when it comes to the Rangers?
Maybe.
Oof. I was thinking the same thing. Wow.
I was thinking Baltimore if they're not in this conversation and if they're out of the Corbin Burns sweepstakes.
Man, it actually feels like they're out on Burns, which is absurd.
Yeah, it does.
But it feels like they're out on him. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
It does not.
Maybe I should have done that. Corbin Burns is mystery team. Baltimore. What? Y'all just have him?
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now. When and the inevitable will happen, John Heyman's going to put it out there on social media. Oh, there's a mystery team in on Burns. I am going to fire back with, is it Baltimore?
Yeah. Is it Baltimore? Yeah. All right, well, my last one, speaking of Baltimore, it's a different one. Mr. Anthony Santander, quality, big bopping back, serious power, pretty much just a DH only. I don't know if it's a one or whatever. I can see, Samantha, your Guardians going after Mr. Santander.
Yeah, no, he's the one. I mean, I think there's very little chance that Cleveland would actually spend the money on it, but I was going to give the same answer as you. He's a good fit there. I believe he has been in their system at some point in the fairly distant past. So certainly they are familiar with him, and it would solve a problem, especially if you're talking about potentially moving Josh Naylor and putting Kyle Manzardo at first base. You don't have David Fry for at least half the year because he's having his elbow reconstructed. So, yeah, no, I mean, Santander is definitely a guy that if I'm Cleveland, I'm at least kicking the tires, for sure.
Would love to see the combination of him and Jose Ramirez back-to-back. That is that's a lot of home run potential right there.
Yeah, Yeah, and they could use it. So use it.
All right, well, that's all I've got. Those 5. If I can do more later on, but yeah, that was just ones to kind of watch. Watch those mystery teams. They love showing up at Christmas time. So, my last one for you guys is we talk about these contracts and some weird things happening. We over the years throughout the sports, we've had some really odd clauses in contracts. We've had. Wasn't too long ago when Kyler Murray gave his extension with the Cardinals. Remember the homework clause that he had? Where he was required to independently from team meetings watch 4 hours of team-provided game film each week. Can't believe you have to put that in there for your quarterback. Another fun one, Troy Glaus, when he signed his 4-year deal with Arizona back in the mid-2000s, there was a $75,000 a year horse training lessons for his wife.
Why didn't you just ask for $75,000 more?
It's just not as much fun. And the fun thing about that is Troy was actually traded a year later from Arizona to Toronto, in which the Blue Jays upped that number to $325,000 a year for horse training and stable fees.
Do you think that is because it is more expensive to board a horse in Canada?
Probably.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Charlie Kerfeld, relief pitcher back in the 80s, after having a career year in 1986, he was unhappy with the raise that the Astros gave him for 87, so he demanded 37 cases of orange Jell-O.
Why orange?
Why not? You know what? You know what? Hey.
I'm all about the...
And the 37 was his jersey number. That one I did, but I never understood why orange, so.
I love that. It's incredibly petty. I love it.
I'm all about the Jell-O, but I'm curious about the color choice.
Yes. And then the last one for getting y'all's one to keep y'all thinking. Lionel Messi, superstar soccer player, has the Catalan clause. After the 2022 World Cup, when he signed to play in Spain for, I believe, Barcelona, in one of the biggest contracts in all of sports, they added a clause saying that he needed to integrate into Catalan society and culture. This required him to learn the language, the Catalan language, which is separate from Spanish. His side of it was that he agreed to this, adding his own clause that if Catalonia became independent of Spain, he could become a free agent.
I like that one. That's good.
Wait, if Catalan became independent of Spain, what happens?
He becomes a free agent. He can get out of the contract.
Oh, that's really funny.
It's like the ultimate out clause, right?
That's hilarious. Obviously, that's, if you know about the situation there, that's for Kevin Malone. It's not going to happen.
No.
But why not? It does. It makes sense, though, right? If it is a different language, this whole immerse yourself in the culture thing feels a little bit silly. It's not that different culturally than the rest of Spain. But, Catalan it's separate. It's not an exact match with Spanish. So I can see how, it would behoove you if you were going to be spending your time there. You can get by speaking Spanish. Millions of tourists go to Barcelona and speak fractured Spanish and they're fine. But, if you're going to be a Catalan citizen or you're going to be a Catalan soccer star or whatever, I can see the team would want you to ingratiate yourself to the politics of the region, certainly. But I do think it's really funny.
Claim their independence. All right, I'm out.
That is funny.
Those are some of the ones that actually happen in sports. I sit here as I was going through that, and what are things that we would ask for, and is it related to your kids? Is it related to your family? Stuff like that. private jets, boat rides. Like a part of me wants to say, like, oh, I need a weekend off to go to a F1 race, or I always get to go to the Super Bowl if I'm a football player. Even if we don't make it, you have to buy me Super Bowl tickets so I can go. Like or certain players, it's something like, yeah, you can, as long as I'm under contract, you can't trade for Anthony Rendon. I will not play with him. Like how petty would you be?
See, you brought up Anthony Rendon. This is exactly what I would have in my contract. I would have a list of assholes, and if you sign any of those set assholes, then a binding trade demand is triggered in my contract. In other words, you have to trade me.
I like that. We always hear about the teams, like no
Right?
trade clauses
Yeah.
to certain teams. No, I'll have specific players. I won't play with these guys or these coaches.
And I'm not messing around. Like, you have to trade me within 30 days. Like, that's my petty.
30 days? Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
You have to trade me within a calendar month.
Super petty would be like, you got 24 hours.
Well, I also want to actually have a legitimate market to go to somebody good. So let's give them 30 days.
Okay.
24 hours. 24 hours I made a trade to Houston, which is nothing but assholes.
There you go. Samantha, you got any petty clauses you would have?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm super petty. I mean, I would do the same thing. It would be, I would have my list of people you're not allowed to bring in unless you want to trade me. I would also have a list of, in addition to no trade for teams, I can't be traded to a team where this guy is. So anybody who's on my you can't bring him here list is also on my you can't send me there list, right? So if that guy's on that team, you can't trade me there, like 100%. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure I would also be demanding seats because I think it's ridiculous that they make them pay for seats for their families.
Thank you.
So I feel like, you're going to give me seats and if I show up, great. If my family shows up, if they don't, too bad. The seats are going to sit empty, but you will give me those seats. They are going to be part of my contract. I'm not buying tickets from the thing where I'm the entertainment. This is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
This should be everyone. Yeah. Everyone should need that. Everyone should be putting that in their contract. Everyone. So, and who knows what other petty weird things. Oh, you know what I would need? I would want to bring my dog with me. My dog comes to the park with me.
Ooh,
I like that. Yeah.
And not just on a day where we're all going to say, okay, today you can bring your dog. It's like, no, my dog comes whenever my dog feels like coming. My dog
treats there for the dog.
Oh yeah, no, and there's going to need to be a clubby who can watch him while I'm playing. So.
Right. Okay.
Maybe my dog sits in the stand. I don't know. It might just be bring your dog to the ballpark day every day. My dog could never be trusted to sit alone in a stand. But hypothetically speaking, if you had a trustworthy dog, I think it should be allowed to sit in the stands and watch games.
I can see the team responding that we will do that, but because we know your dog, if it gets on the field in the game, that's a $5,000 fine.
It's fair. I mean, which is why, it would deter me from bringing her. But I don't think Bobby Bonilla could. So, Bobby Bonilla can't handle anything. She's really poorly trained. So, the good news is she weighs 4 pounds. So, she can't do much damage. But I would submit to that. If I'm going to leave her on her side in the stands, then it is on me. If she enters the field to play, which she definitely would. So, I'll own that.
Love it. Well, and listeners, I'd love to hear from y'all as well. What would be your petty clauses? What would please shoot at us on social medias of what are your petty clauses? How petty would you be?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm really curious to hear what people can come up with for this. It'd be great.
All right. Anything else on this before we move on to the Pack 2?
The Pack. Speaking of petty.
Yeah, this is going to be petty because this is ridiculous. So this week, we get Washington State and Oregon State in the one and only conference game for the Pac-12. How, Samantha, I need you to be my voice of reason because I don't understand how this was allowed to happen. How do
Yeah,
how do you call this a conference? Like the NCAA should have immediately gone and said, "No, you're both independent."
yeah, no, I think at some point, like once the conference began to dissolve, immediately, and I know the NCAA doesn't believe in doing anything immediately, but they needed to do this. You have to put a guideline in that says you must have, I don't know, 6 teams to constitute a conference. If you do not have 6 teams, you are not a conference anymore. You are being dissolved. You are either an independent or you're going to go join another conference. But you cannot, the two of you, cling to each other, like you're Jack and Rose on the board, the door, whatever it was, which they both could have fit on. And they're both, those two are clinging to that raft for dear life, man. Like everybody else got in a lifeboat and went to another, as the ship went down, right? And everybody else, they got in a lifeboat. They went to another conference, and those 2 idiots are still clinging to that board in the freezing water and being like, we're not leaving. We're just going to die here. You're not a conference.
Yeah.
No.
You know what actually makes this a little bit more absurd to me, Irby? Washington State is 8-2. Oregon State is 4-6. If Oregon State wins this game, they are the Pac-12 champions.
That's funny.
Go Beavers!
Like, let that sink in.
Yeah.
This is where we're at in life.
Washington State too was ranked up until last week when they lost at New Mexico. So these guys can't even beat conference teams. So yeah. This is bad. This is it's not a good. I'm curious if I would love to look into this if they're doing this in other sports too, or because that's the thing of the Pac-2, 12, 10, whatever it is. Now is you were a legit conference, and everybody stormed the castle and took everything from you. You held on to this Pac-2 thing, and what do we? What's the point? Like, there's no point in continuing this. You're letting the Mountain West take over. So why are we? It's going to dissolve, and it's going to be the Mountain West. And I think that's the saddest thing here is you were one of the power conferences that got the castle raided and now dissolved into the Mountain West.
All right, Samantha, anything you want to add here before we move on?
No, I'm good.
Enough with the Pac-2. All right. So we already talked a little bit about the absurdity of a crap team and a crap conference getting a bye in the college football playoff. We already touched on that a little bit, but let's broaden that up a bit. What actually puts a team out? Right, we've said that the conference championship shouldn't put a team out. What is your criteria, Samantha? We'll start with you. What puts a team out of the college football playoff in your mind?
It's got to be the third loss, right? Like, assuming we're talking about people who are in conferences where they should be in the conversation in the first place without doing loss. I cannot see a 3-loss team making sense for this.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Wholeheartedly, I agree with that. All right, everybody, what do you think? 3 losses? You agree with that?
Well, it depends. Are we talking 3 losses total or 3 conference losses?
I think total.
Total? Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay. Because I can see, like, if you're playing a top tier program in another major conference and you lose that game and then only lose 2 in your conference, you're going to be. I mean, this might happen where that team is going to be going to their quote unquote title game, conference title game, and can win that. But on the outside, so the one that we're looking at right now is 18 South Carolina. It's a top 3-loss team, and they've lost to LSU and then ranked teams Ole Miss and Alabama. They've beaten A&M and Missouri, and they've got Clemson left. So 18, that's going to be hard to get back up in there. So 3 is it's going to happen, especially with these smaller conferences in there. One of them will eventually get it, but it probably will happen one day. But I'm not against it. Like, it's almost like in a fight where if you leave it to the judges, you can't complain. Like, you've got 3 losses, you leave it to this committee, and you are probably on the outside. If you get in, thank your lucky stars.
Yeah, I think 3 losses is disqualifying. I really do. But I also agree with you, Irby, that eventually we're going to see that with the way these conferences are realigning. You get those really awful conferences, you're going to have 3. And they're going to win their conference and get in because they won their conference. So, Samantha, anything you want to add here?
No, I just think you should be disqualified if you lose 3 games. They should just throw you out.
I agree.
Don't in your conference.
Yeah. Oh, you won the Big 12 with 3 losses. Guess what? You're not in the playoff.
Yeah, no. Bye. Try again next year.
That works for me.
Go to the NIT.
Oh, see, we're one step away from that. You know that, right? Like, we're one step away from, those that don't qualify doing some sort of parallel NIT type playoff in college football.
You know how much I love losers brackets, she says.
We got the participation championship this year, baby.
Ooh, stop doing this. Stop it.
All right. One more piece of business before we call it a week. I'm going to assign another president. For those that are new to the show, we take professional sports teams. Doesn't matter, NFL, baseball, I just said football, hockey, NBA, whatever. And we assign them a former president that was president prior to Nixon. We don't want to be too recent and get into some waters that we don't want to be a part of. So this one was
I believe Nixon himself is eligible though, right?
Ooh, that could be fun.
Just to clarify?
Yeah.
I believe Nixon was the last that we decided.
Nixon's the last one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Nixon could be fun. That could be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So this week I am assigning President John Adams, the second president of the United States, to the Miami Dolphins. And I'm going to tell you why. So we just had the Chiefs lose, so, the last undefeated team fell, so they were popping champagne in Miami. John Adams, like the Miami Dolphins, accomplished exactly one thing. He kept us out of a war with France and Britain and built up our Navy in the process. He accomplished one thing in his entire presidency. Much like the Dolphins, who had one perfect season and won't shut up about it, John Adams never shut up either. I think this is a good match. I think this is a good assignment of a president. Samantha, what do you think?
I mean, I'm struggling a little bit with this one because I really love John Adams. I think he has the right end of a lot of things. So, I hate to, throw him to the wolves, but, also, you're not wrong. But, most of John Adams' accomplishments were not actually done in the office of the president.
Correct.
Most of what John Adams did that was important, and there's a lot of it, didn't really have a whole lot to do with him being president, where he didn't really do anything. It's I don't know, I guess he just took those 4 years off. Some ways, I don't know, who's got a 4-year playoff job? You could do that too. But yeah, no, I'll buy the Dolphins for sure. Because it's you've been dining out on this one thing, right? And we know John Adams did many wonderful things, but as a president, he's dining out on one thing, just like the 1932 Miami Dolphins. So yeah, no, I will buy that. For sure.
Yeah. Irby, how about you? Any thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm trying to think who his kid will be later. Who will John? Golly, this is good. This is it's you're known for one thing. Thank you, Bo, for that. It's so great because there were so many wonderful things that the Miami Dolphins have brought to the NFL, but because of these jackweeds, we have to hear about this one stupid thing all the time.
Exactly. And Samantha, I'm with you. John Adams is my favorite founding father.
Mm-hmm.
Put that out there. Disclaimer. But he was also someone who never shut up. So everything fits perfectly here.
He had a lot to say about everything.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. All right. Well, anything else on this one before we fire up the Ghostbusters and call it a week?
No, but just, God, bless you, Buffalo Bills, for, getting the Miami Dolphins business over with for this particular year. So we thank you for your service, Buffalo.
All right. Well, wherever you are listening to Lollygagging Sports, give us a like. Subscribe to the show. Help us out with that algorithm so we can get some more lollygaggers in here. But for this week, we're done. We're out of here. Until next week. I don't know. Give the NFL a shot. It was good last weekend. It might be good this weekend, too. Watch some football. It's good for you.